Grassley.
Congratulations to both of you. I'm going to start out with Ms. Montecalvo. Your office filed an emergency petition asking the Rhode Island Supreme Court to end cash bail. The court denied. It noted that there was no reason to think that judges hadn't been taking pandemic into account as they set bail. Can you tell me more about your reasoning for requesting that of the courts to end cash bail across the board?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we prepared a second petition to the Rhode Island Supreme Court asking that the court consider releasing more people who were held on bail than it had originally intended. The rationale for our request was that the winter wave of COVID was coming, and that the prison and the public health experts at the prison had thought more space within the prison would help the prison address the incoming pandemic. We made that request to the Rhode Island Supreme Court. We conferenced it with representatives from the Attorney General's office, and ultimately that request was denied.
Okay. To you again, could you, since you haven't served as a judge, I'd like to get an idea of your judicial philosophy. And a pretty simple question, could you tell me any Supreme Court justice you think has a judicial philosophy most closely resembling your own?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. I believe that judges are here to apply the law, not to make it. And while I have not studied the judicial philosophies of all of our Supreme Court judges, one judge that I look up to immensely is Judge Thompson, the woman whose seat I would fill if I were so lucky to be confirmed today. And the reason I look up to her as a model is because of her judicial temperament, because she is the epitome of a judge who respects everyone who comes before her, who is polite, who is considerate. And the other thing I look to in Judge Thompson is that her writing is readable. It is accessible to all. And in writing so clearly, she makes our court system open to all of us, not just open to those of us who have a legal background. Thank you.
Judge Miriam, I'm going to ask you about political activism, and there's nothing wrong with political activism. But when you were working in that capacity, you protested outside the office of a politician. That's a pretty normal place to protest. More recently, we've seen others protesting outside of judges' homes. Do you think it's appropriate to protest outside a judge's home in an attempt to influence a decision?
Thank you, Senator. There is a federal statute that provides that if a person engages in certain activities directed to the attempt to influence a judicial decision or threatening a judge, that is a crime. And so anyone who commits that crime, that's a violation of the law.
Okay. I want to ask you, because you've been a magistrate and district judge for several years, similar to what I asked the previous person, which justice do you think has a judicial philosophy most closely resembling yours?
Thank you, Ranking Member. Honestly, when I read Supreme Court opinions, I read them for the outcome, and I'm not focused on who has written them. Like Ms. Montecalvo, I model myself on judges I know, and I know well Judge Thompson, who I clerked for, Judge Alvin Thompson, and Judge Meskel. And the judges I have worked for and watched and seen how they interact with people, and seen, especially, and Chair Durbin referred to this with Judge Meskel, the ability and the obligation to set aside your personal views in approaching the law. That's what I strive to achieve.
Okay, got 5 seconds left. Is there an opinion you've written that best shows your judicial philosophy and approach to the law?
Oh, thank you, Senator. I think I've got 400 opinions on Westlaw at this point, but I will tell you what I hope they all show, or at least in my later years, it takes a year or two to get good at this, is a fidelity to the law, to the rules, and a clarity of decision-making that is focused only on the dispute in front of me.
One of those 400 decisions you consider your best one.
I will. Thank you, Senator.
Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. First, let me again welcome Lara Montecalvo and thank her for